Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about the 25 crops that you can plant right now in your North Florida garden. I'm Claire with the North Florida Garden Project. My garden is in Jacksonville, Florida, Zone 9B. April is the most important month in the garden. It's the bridge between those cool summer mornings and those hot, humid days of the summer that are just around the corner. Today I'm giving you the definitive list of the 25 vegetables, herbs, and flowers that you can plant now without the fluff. We're just talking about the 25 things that you should do right now before May comes around. Let's start with our big 5 heavy hitters. These are going to be no surprise to you all. So we have our tomatoes. I have a link to all of the tomato varieties that UF recommends that I've been able to find in the description below. We also have eggplants, peppers, bush beans, and pole beans. Don't forget to figure out how you're going to support your tomatoes, especially those indeterminate varieties when you plant. I prefer the Florida weave method, where you weave the string in and out of those tomato plants about every foot or every half foot. Also with your peppers, put their little pepper cages around them right when you plant them so you don't have to worry about breaking off any of their branches or their leaves, trying to finagle it around them when they get to be a little bit bigger. For my eggplants specifically, they can last such a long time in the Florida heat. I actually prefer to use the big tomato cages on them because those leaves are huge and it's really hard to get them in between those different layers of the tomato cage after they're big. With my pole beans and bush beans, I don't give them any specific support. I just let them trellis on whatever is next to them, and that works for me. It also gives some great ground coverage to protect that soil from our Florida heat. But don't skip them. They are so great for the soil and they are incredibly easy. Since summer is right around the corner, we also have to start thinking about our summer-loving crops. The top 5 summer-loving crops are okra, Seminole pumpkin, pigeon peas or black-eyed peas, watermelon, and sweet potato. Okra is definitely a learn to love food for me and my family. I'm trying a lot of different recipes and we're going to figure it out this year. Hopefully, if you have any recipes, leave them in the comments for me. As far as sweet potatoes, they're probably one of the most satisfying crops to grow because when you get to pull out that huge stalk in the fall with all of those sweet potatoes on them, there's just no better feeling. And you can eat the leaves too if you trellis them right. Again, with the southern peas, just like our pole beans and bush beans that we've already talked about, they're great to just throw in the beds even if you don't have a huge plan for them. They will nourish the soil, they will protect your soil in that summer heat, and that's really what it's all about. If you're going to go for those Seminole pumpkins or those watermelons, make sure you give them plenty of space to sprawl. This year, I'm using my watermelons as a little bit of ground cover for that new area in the backyard. But you can also grow the sugar baby watermelons on a trellis. That's 10 down, 15 more to go. If you have any concerns about your Florida tomatoes this year, I have a very quick 5-page PDF resource for everything you need to know about growing tomatoes all the way from North Florida to South Florida. The link will be in the description below and also in my bio. Make sure you check it out so your tomatoes can thrive this year. Now we are moving on to our quick wins and all of our greens. This year, my garden is full of zucchini and summer squash. Those vine borers pop up just around the corner, so get them in now and keep an eye on them so you can catch any pest problems early. If you're a fan of Swiss chard, now is the time to plant it. It can tolerate the heat. You can also try some Malabar spinach, which is a vining plant instead of the little bushy plants like a traditional spinach. It's a great option to grow if you know that you're going to need some shade coverage over a certain part of your bed come that heat of summer. New Zealand spinach and collards are 2 other options for greens that can tolerate the heat down here. Last year, one of my favorite recipes for collards was to use them like I would a kale chip. You strip the leaves off of the middle stem there, put a little bit of olive oil on them, and you can bake them in the oven or you can dehydrate them in your dehydrator. And it's very crispy and they're absolutely delicious. The last of our quick win crops is cantaloupe. I grow cantaloupe over ladder mesh trellis that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's or any of your tool supply stores. I usually put it in between 2 of my raised beds and the cantaloupe grows up and over. The fruit is small enough where that trellis is able to support that fruit while it's growing and it does not fall off. It's a great space-saving hack, and if you haven't grown cantaloupe at home, there is nothing better tasting nothing than a fully ripe, freshly harvested cantaloupe. You have to try it. Now let's throw in the companion plants that your garden needs to truly turn into an ecosystem of health. First up, we have ginger and turmeric. You can grow them the same way, so I group them together. You can let those rhizomes sprout in the pantry if you don't use it in time, or you can put it in a little dish of soil or a little dish of water and wait for those nodules to start to grow and produce a little bit of a white tip or a green tip. You plant those in the ground with those growing tips facing up. Come fall or early winter, you will have a great harvest. And then probably the king herb of my Florida garden is basil. I plant that stuff everywhere. It loves the heat. I can plant it densely and just trim off the tops of it whenever I need it. I typically have an abundance of basil throughout the year. I usually put it into the freezer and we can make fresh pesto all year round. Rosemary is another crop that is great down here because it doesn't require a lot of care. I've planted rosemary in the corner of my bed. That's the spot that gets a little bit less water, and it has absolutely thrived in there. Mexican tarragon is another herb that loves our Florida heat. And of course, we can't forget to mention our marigolds and our sunflowers. I don't know what it is down here, but it seems like you scatter one seed and it turns into 50 overnight. Not only are these plants beautiful, but they make a massive amount of seeds for you to harvest next year. Also, those sunflowers provide some good shade for those plants that really need it when that summer heat comes around. This year I planted some on the outside of my garden beds to hopefully grow up and provide some shade for more of those sensitive crops that get direct sun all summer long. Cosmos are another flower that are very easy to grow down here and do really well in the Florida humidity. Usually I don't purchase a mix of seeds like the wildflower mixes because I like to know exactly what I'm planting, but this is one flower that I actually feel differently about. I got a Crazy Cosmo mix as a gift, and I love that it has every single different color of cosmos in it, so I can scatter it around the borders in my garden, and it's a beautiful mix of color throughout the summer and early fall. And number 25, the crop that I am most excited about trying for the very first time in my Florida garden this year is roselle. So they say that roselle is like the Florida cranberry. It's in the same family as hibiscus and okra, so the flowers look really similar, but you can actually harvest those flower pods and make some tea. From what I've read, it's supposed to have a higher antioxidant content than your traditional green teas, and the color is just beautiful. That was a lot. There's all 25 of them there. That's everything that I would recommend planting or at least considering to get into your garden this April in Florida. One last pro tip for April, don't forget to mulch. We talked about using your beans as sort of a living mulch, but you can also use some chopped up leaves or pine mulch, which is abundant down here, or just traditional wood chips as well. It will keep your soil up to 10 degrees cooler than the air above it, and it keeps that moisture in your soil, which is really what we want. Aim for about 1 to 3 inches of mulch and make sure that you're checking your watering to make sure it's getting through those layers of the mulch in the summer. If I missed your favorite crop, drop it in the comments below and let me know. And if 25 crops feels a little bit overwhelming, check out my video here of the 5 crops that you should get into the ground this April if you do nothing else. Until next time, happy gardening.